U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is heading to Myanmar in early December. U.S. relations with Myanmar have undergone a significant change over the past 3 years, as Washington sought to redefine its policy toward the rogue nation, moving away from focusing on sanctions to a combined strategy of sanctions and dialogue. One of the major drivers of the U.S. shift on Myanmar was less a desire for revised relations with the country itself than as part of a broader strategy to strengthen relations with ASEAN and the Greater Asia region. U.S.-ASEAN relations were consistently hampered by U.S. policies toward Myanmar, one of the original ASEAN 10 members. The adjustment in U.S. policy in part led to a shift in how the Myanmar military-backed government planned and carried out elections in 2010. The other driver was the increasing economic dependence and affiliated political influence of China. Although Myanmar's primary trading partner remains Thailand, China was one of the few countries willing to increase investment and economic interaction with a country deemed rogue by the United States and shunned by Europe. China's focus in Myanmar is on energy, both on the exploitation of resources in the country and the potential use of Myanmar as a transit route for African and Middle East oil and gas, allowing Beijing to reduce its energy transit through the Strait of Malacca. Port, pipeline, and transportation infrastructure deals bring benefits to Myanmar, but also place the country in an increasing position of dependence on China. The 2010 parliamentary elections in Myanmar served to split the long-standing opposition National League for Democracy, or NLD, led by Aung San Suu Kyi, as several members of the party broke ranks and formed the National Democratic Force to compete in elections being boycotted by the NLD. The split in the opposition gave Myanmar's leadership more room to maneuver politically, and in the first quarter of 2011, the military leadership officially handed over power to a civilian government, even if that government was largely made up of retired military officials. These moves, as well as the tacit approval of the U.S., led Suu Kyi to shift her position as well, to a greater willingness to work with the new government and to register herself and the NLD to compete in future elections. For the United States, this has been a low-cost strategy. It allowed Washington to continue to take a public stance on human rights, while accepting a transition in Myanmar that wasn't simply handing over power to the dissident community. For Myanmar's military leadership, the change opens opportunity for greater investment to both balance Chinese influence and offer future economic development. Already there are hints that Europe may be considering lifting some sanctions on Myanmar. But it is in China where this presents the biggest challenge. Beijing has seen Myanmar as a critical element in its attempts to reduce its maritime transport vulnerability and to secure additional energy resources. China's competitive advantage in Myanmar has been its willingness to work with a rogue regime, not so much its ability to bring any new technical capabilities or to help develop the country beyond the immediate pipeline and road investments. With the potential for U.S. and European investment, as well as Indian, China may lose that edge, or at least not be able to consider it so secure. This is one more piece of evidence, from Beijing's perspective, of a closing circle of U.S. encroachment on China's areas of strategic concern.